What's going on, guys? This is John here with the Fantasy Tap, coming to you guys, bringing you some updates from the NFL. As the preseason's been going on, we've had some roster changes, we've had some key injuries, and we've got some information to bring to you guys that's going to help you draft your teams and keep up with managing your rosters as we move closer to the first week of the NFL regular season. So let's jump right into it. Before we do, though, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, like this video, as well as joining our Discord that is linked down below. We obviously are running our annual listener league. The draft is less than a week away right now. So make sure you guys get your chances to get into the running. All you have to do is be a subscriber to the YouTube channel, as well as being a member of the Discord channel, which will give you 2 entries into the draft, into the raffle to be a member of the league. Now, getting into the news, we have big quarterback news coming out of Denver. They have named their starter, and surprisingly, I'm a lot more excited than I thought I would be for this news. I was a big Drew Lock fan, but Teddy Bridgewater will be getting that Week 1 start, named the starting quarterback for the Broncos. Fangio's come out and said that he is just the better fit for the team moving forward as of right now. Doesn't sound like they're extremely confident. It sounds like it's his job to lose. If he doesn't play great, they will try Drew Lock out for another couple games. Lock's only played in 18 games throughout his season, so haven't seen much greatness, but you still could see a lot better. Now, with Bridgewater there, obviously last year he was on the Carolina Panthers, which was an abysmal team, but still able to keep Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Curtis Samuel very involved. So we're going to have to see what we can get from them this year. He will be joining the Broncos and playing for them, who have a much, much better offensive line, one that jumped from a bottom 30 team offensive line in 2019 up to what's currently ranked as a top 21 offensive line in the NFL right now. A lot of their young guys taking steps forward. Now, this could mean a lot of great news for guys like Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, and even Noah Fant. Not so much for the running back group, as realistically it might hurt their pass catching, as I do see Teddy Bridgewater, someone that's going to be getting the ball out there a lot better to the receivers, moving the ball downfield with those passing attempts. Last year, Locke, in his limited run, did finish last amongst all starting quarterbacks as far as pass accuracy, while Teddy Bridgewater finished in the top 6. So I really do think that Jerry Jeudy's going to see that breakout that we were all hoping for. Sutton's going to come back to an amazing team, and we're going to see a lot of potential out of a lot of these guys this year. Really excited for that. Some bad news coming out of Jacksonville, though. First round pick Travis Etienne is officially out for the season, reportedly with a bad Liz Frank fracture in the foot. Now, this is terrible news for this young running back and terrible for the team that drafted him. Going to be there would have been a very valuable tool, very versatile for that rookie quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, who also was just named starter for his team. Now, this does mean James Robinson will be that team's #1 running back again this year without much competition fighting behind him. Carlos Hyde, still in Jacksonville, will probably be playing a complementary role, mainly as backup and relief. So if you were lucky enough to draft already and you grab James Robinson in that 6th or 8th round, sometimes letting him even fall into the 11th round, you got him at an incredible steal, and you probably just won your league. Play those waivers right, and it should be an easy sail to the playoffs. Coming out of New England, Sony Michel will be packing those bags, moving to LA, joining the Rams. He was traded from New England for a 4th and a 5th round pick. After the Rams have verbally committed to sticking with Darrell Henderson, as well as the younger running backs that they've drafted over the past 2 years. But Darrell Henderson's coming into camp already day-to-day with a thumb issue. Some of the other running backs have already been banged up, so they went and traded for a younger, somewhat proven running back. He was a 2nd-round pick, and I honestly think that this is a better situation for Sony Michel coming into a team where he, even with Darrell Henderson there, Michel's going to be getting that #2 role, and should be seeing a decent volume almost consistently. And then with Henderson going out, Sony Michel is great as a flex running back most weeks, with some upside in that red zone. Now, as we do know, Ramondre Stevenson, as well as J.J. Taylor, have really been showing out in the preseason. Stevenson's gone for 4 touchdowns already, 1 game breaking for over 150 yards, and then J.J. filling in just as well. Now, both of these guys have a great shot to take over as the number 2 running back behind Damian Harris in New England. Ramondre Stevenson, so far, though, as of the first day without Sony Michel being there, took all of the second handoffs in each of the practice periods, gaining more ground to the fact that he might be that team's number 2 running back, which would be great. I know Mike was a huge predictor of this to happen. He actually expected them to straight up just cut Sony Michel, but being able to grab a 4th and a 5th round draft pick out of there, it's scary for those Dolphins fans. We want to keep those Patriots down, but when they get all these picks out of players, it's going to come back to bite us. Coming out of the Dallas Cowboys, though, Dak Prescott seems to be holding up really well with that shoulder, and still projected to be good to go for week 1. There's been a lot of different reports coming out from around the league talking about how he could never hit 100% by the beginning or at any point throughout the season, and that you're going to be getting a lesser version of him. But I really am not holding too much merit to these reports because he has been going in on 7-on-7s and 11-on-11 in practice. But the real problem here is that he's still quarterback 5 in drafts, and I think that might still be a little bit early. You are taking a big risk at not a quarterback 5 output. If he's not up to full speed, even with those talented receivers across the team, it might not be enough to get your value from him. He might be someone you might want to be looking to draft away from. Now, over in Indianapolis, Carson Wentz has returned to practice and has been handling all first-team reps. Now, this is after the foot fracture, which was supposed to sideline him for 5 to 12 weeks, coming back only after only 2 of them. Him and Quentin Nelson are extremely valuable assets for the Colts. Both of them projected to be back 100% by week 1. And this means that Jonathan Taylor is going to be an absolute monster, as we've all been hoping for, and shouldn't be seeing any hindrance to his upside this year. So absolutely incredible news there. And then more great news coming out of New Orleans. Jameis Winston is inching his way closer and closer to that starting quarterback role after an amazing week 2 preseason game. He had 2 absolutely beautiful passes, one of them going for over 50 yards to Marquez Callaway, who in himself is thriving, being able to carve himself that wide receiver 1 role while Michael Thomas is out and Traquan Smith isn't showing up. So if Jameis Winston, though still not confirmed to be the starter, has been looking a lot better than Taysom Hill has in this limited amount of time. Hopefully in week 3 of the preseason, we can see Jameis Winston really win over this job, as he's the one that's going to be adding the most value to this team in the fantasy season. And we want him there a lot more than we want Taysom, especially if you're a Kamara holder or if you're someone that's picked up Marquez Callaway. Now, Adam Troutman did get carted off the field. So another young guy who's been trying to make a name for himself, Jajuan Johnson, will be getting a chance to earn a spot for himself. Now, think he's looked pretty decent. We're going to have one more shot to see it. And if he does really come out there and look like a talented tight end early, he did play a little bit of receiver in college, we could see someone that might have some fantasy value as far as deep leagues, super flex, 2 tight end leagues, or any sort of weird formats you're in. Just a name to keep in mind. And then as well, out of Philadelphia, Quez Watkins has been lining up as the first team slot receiver after an amazing 2 preseason games. Even Jalen Hurts coming out and saying that he was the cheat code and he was a secret weapon. He's earning himself a beautiful spot. He'll be starting with Jalen Reagor and Devonta Smith, both of them getting a lot of doubts from people so far this season. Devonta Smith had an amazing catch in practice today, so could be somewhat of a sleeper receiver group. None of them really being drafted very highly outside of Devonta Smith. So I think Quez Watkins is someone that you're going to want to keep an eye on. Pick him up if you're in a dynasty league and he's just sitting on the waivers and you've got the empty bench space. And then someone you're definitely want to make sure you're picking up if you haven't drafted yet. If he's sitting on your waivers, he's absolutely valuable in almost every sort of format. That's going to be Jamal Williams. It's already been stated by Dan Campbell that he's pretty fearful that DeAndre Swift is not going to be playing week 1 versus the 49ers, leaving Jamal Williams that role to himself. The Lions' offense is not deep at any position. They picked up Jamar Jefferson as a 3rd-string running back in this offseason, And after that, they're pretty shallow. They more than likely will be picking up some depth piece as teams cut their rosters down if DeAndre Swift does miss any time. But I don't expect Jamal Williams to have much competition. And even if DeAndre Swift is there, we can still expect to see Williams grabbing a sizable chunk of that offense. And I think that's going to be a great pickup for you. So, guys, that's going to be all the news that's been going on in the past week or so. Make sure you guys are hitting us up with any of your draft questions, as I know you guys are going to be starting your drafts. We do have one more episode of our round-by-round breakdown coming through. That's going to be rounds 14 and 15, and then our sleeper video is coming, so make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. Just want to remind you one more time about the Listener League. Make sure you guys get your shot into the raffle to earn one of those 11 spots to win the signed Kyler Murray helmet. Again, make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you again shortly. Bye, guys.